episode of 12 Days of Midnight Women Christmas.
Yeah.
Yay!
Welcome to day 10.
Day 10. 10 Lords of Leapin'.
10 Lords of Leapin'.
Good Lord. Energy's up. We're still alive.
Yeah.
And today, for a lot of our East Coast folks,
Yeah.
the 10th day is Tibb's Eve.
Tibb's Eve.
Do you know what Tibb's Eve means?
I don't know what it means, but I know that everybody gets loaded at the local pub in Lunenburg.
It is a liquor holiday. That's for sure. There's like a big misconception that it's Tips Eve.
Oh, no, it's
With
B.
Ps?
It's a B. It's Tibbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But tips, because a tip would be like a small drink.
Oh, yeah. Like
Hence where
tip
the
one
word
back.
tipsy comes from.
Tipsy.
Comes from that. But it's actually Tibb.
Yeah.
So I wanted to learn more about Tibb's Eve. Where does
Yeah.
it come from? Why do we have it? And Tibb's Eve was a folk expression. It didn't start as an actual day.
Okay.
So it was a thing people would say before being associated with the 23rd of December
okay.
as like a drinking holiday.
Okay.
It originally starts with Saint Tibb.
Okay.
So Saint Tibb is not a real saint. She doesn't have a hagiography like
Oh, it's
Saint
a
Catherine.
lady.
Oh, she's a woman.
Tibb's a lady.
She is a character that appears in a lot of 17th century English plays.
Okay.
And the character is a loose-moraled woman and was used as comic relief. Tibb was slang for a woman who is sexually promiscuous.
Oh.
And it's a direct reference to a female cat. So you could call a female cat a Tibb, I guess. And so many plays throughout the 1600s in England would feature a character named Tibb or Saint Tibb. And she's this comic relief slutty character.
Me on the podcast.
Yeah, you don't know it, but like Linnea is a huge slutty character on this podcast. No, she's
I'm not.
So from that, you somehow get the term Tibb's Eve.
Okay.
It's an expression for a non-time, so it's something that never actually happens.
Oh, weird.
So it's either something that would unlikely ever happen or it would never happen. So Tibb's Eve was traditionally used in Newfoundland vernacular as an unspecified date. So if someone asked you, like, when are you going to pay me back? They'd be like, oh, Tibb's Eve.
Oh, that's funny.
Basically to say, like, you're probably never going to see that money again.
Sorry.
And then proverbially it became associated with Christmas because it would mean neither before nor after Christmas,
Okay.
meaning it will never happen.
Yeah.
But it's just like the date that they would
Right.
use as the frame of reference. So it's between the old year and the new year. Again, doesn't actually make any sense. And that's how it became associated with the Christmas season specifically.
Okay.
So sometime around World War II, people along the south coast of Newfoundland began to associate the 23rd of December with the phrase Tibb's Eve, which is funny because the whole point of the phrase is that it's not an actual day.
And now it is.
But now it is. And it was deemed the first night during Advent when it was appropriate to have a drink.
Yeah.
So Advent is a sober time of the year, and most traditional Christians would not drink before Christmas Day. And some people even consider Christmas Day a little early to start drinking.
Oh, pshaw.
And so Tibb's Eve emerged as an excuse to drink 2 days earlier.
Why not?
The tradition of celebrating Tibb's Eve was also similar to a 19th century holiday that would be observed for Saint Monday.
Okay.
Again, another fake saint. And you would just take the day off. It's like it's Saint Monday, taking the day off. But I just love the idea of like Catholics especially are like, we have these strict observances. We have this calendar of days. There's probably a day every day of the year is associated with a saint or something. But then they'll also just be like, well, I'm just fucking around. It's Tibb's Eve. I've decided I'm allowed to drink.
Today is Tibb's Eve.
Like the whole, up until this point, hypothetically, for hundreds of years, people are like, you can't drink on these days. Like, you have to be sober. And then one Newfoundland guy was like, well, I really want to. But if I make a day about it,
If
like
I make
it a thing, then it's fine. So this would have been a very rural tradition. It would have just been in like the South Shore of Newfoundland. It's not something that would have been widely celebrated really until like the 2010s.
Okay.
So in the 2010s, there's a bunch of bars on George Street in St. John's that started advertising Tibb's Eve.
Yeah.
And from there, brewery taproom owners kind of took on the name and they started hosting Tibb's Eve events. And normally they would be marketed as like, you're an outsider, here's your opportunity to partake in a traditional Newfoundland
Yeah.
celebration, and they would also leverage it for a lot of informal fundraising efforts.
And that's kind of what it is in Lunenburg. Like every other restaurant is closed that night.
Yeah.
For like the food and drink hour, except the Knot, which is like our local pub, and it's more of a night for anybody who doesn't have anywhere to go for Christmas.
Right.
It's like you come there, but it's also a time when a lot of the like kids, like a lot of people like our age who aren't home for Christmas,
Right.
like go out because the rest of the time you're going to be with your family.
Yes.
So it's like a night of like drinking.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of like now become a homecoming
Yeah,
event.
and so it is. So it's like anybody who's in town that maybe doesn't have something to do for Christmas, like anybody new.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of new faces, but also a lot of like older faces, and
Yeah.
it's fun. It's a good rowdy time.
Yeah. So one of the first Tibbs Eve in St. John's, it was called Shine Your Light on Tibbs Eve, and it was used as a fundraiser for St. John's Women's Center, and they've been doing that since 2009.
Nice.
And there's a lot of like charity drives and things like that. Since then, social media and a lot of expatriate Newfoundlanders have spread the tradition
Yeah.
across Canada, especially in places like Halifax and Toronto. In 2014, Grand Prairie Golf and Country Club in Alberta hosted a Newfoundland-themed Tibbs Eve party in support of local charities.
Newfoundland themed. I love that.
My culture's not a costume.
Imagine.
Tibbs Eve is sometimes referred to as Tips Eve, 2 P's, Tips Eve with 1 P, or Tipsy Eve. A popular contemporary legend or folk etymology maintains that these names are attributed to the word tipple, which would have been a verb meaning to drink intoxicating liquor, especially habitually or sometimes in excess.
Oh.
So if you're going to have a tipple, you're going to have a lot of liquor.
Okay.
And that's where some people think the name comes from, but it's actually Tibb.
Yeah.
But I loved it. When I was looking it up, there's like one folklorist from Newfoundland, and he was saying that he's like, it's a great name. Like, I know it's not the right name to call it Tipsy Eve, but that is a good description of what the day is.
Yeah, it's what it is.
Yeah. So that's Tibbs Eve.
Yeah, no, Tibbs Eve, that's cool. This is story time. I had a very, very publicly intoxicated, maybe my only publicly intoxicated in my hometown of Lunenburg makeout on Tibbs Eve in the Knot, like in the bar, just at the table.
Oh, no.
With like a guy that
Christmas, the snow's coming down.
And I remember I was in an ugly Christmas sweater, and I was there with like a group of friends, like from being kids, like a group of people I'd known forever. And
How old are you?
I am graduated from university.
So 22 or 3.
Yeah, I'm like 23 years old.
Okay.
And there was a guy there who I had. He has a summer home in Lunenburg.
Okay.
I grew up in Halifax.
Okay.
So I'd always see him in the summers. We like did tennis and stuff together. And he came to a dance when I was in grade 7. And we like danced, and it was very cute. And everyone was like, you guys are so cute, you should go out. And then we like became friends on Facebook.
Your boyfriend from another town.
But he was in Halifax.
He went
or
to a
whatever.
different school.
And so now we're like back again and we're 24, and he's like, I remember we were so drunk. And he's just like, I always had a crush on you. And I was like, me too. And then we just like aggressively made out like at the table. Like, like
no.
in chairs.
I don't think I've ever done that.
And it was the one and only time. But like in my hometown, like where there were definitely people who were like, oh
my
Linnea.
God.
Like you weren't just random girl. It was like, oh Linnea. Like
I don't think I have like a Tibbs Eve
but
story.
Worth it.
Oh yeah.
Happy Tibbs Eve.
Happy Tibbs Eve,
Yeah.
everyone. May Saint Tibb bless you. You're celebrating it in the most authentic way. You know, she's a sexually loose, promiscuous woman.
Just here for a laugh.
See, you say you laugh, but really you're here for tradition. You're trying to reestablish the true nature of Saint Tibbs Eve.
That's me.
So if you're out there and you're feeling like this is your moment, do it, because that is what the holiday is about.
It's your moment.
It's your moment. May Saint Tibb bless you on this beautiful 23rd of December. Thanks for tuning in for the 12 Days of Minute Women Christmas.
We love sharing the holiday season with you, and we hope that we can be a part of your holiday traditions.
Yeah, if you want to send us a little Christmas gift, you should rate and review the podcast. Give it 5 stars. Let us know what you think. And you can tune in tomorrow for another episode of the 12 Days.
Thanks.
Bye.